All right, so today is fight night, fight day, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna have to check and see what time this fight with Canelo start because there is a time difference in Guadalajara versus Pacific time. California time. I don't know if they are behind or ahead. I know Hawaii is like a few hours behind, and so more than likely Mexico is a few hours behind. But with that being said, I want to respond to some comments made by Canelo's trainer, Eddie Reynoso. I saw it on another media outlet. Somebody I used to work with, be a correspondent with, but at the end of the day, we went our separate ways. I ain't saying the dude's name because I didn't use any actual footage, so I don't have to really say his name. What's going on? So, as you guys can see, basically there's been next to no buzz for this Canelo fight. I've looked at various media outlets, and basically you've seen the weigh in, and that's pretty much it. And that's not only on every media outlet. Um, I had the opportunity to go cover that fight. I was sent credential forms to fill out, but I do not have a passport, and I am not a passport bro. So then it's not in Tijuana. It's like in Guadalajara, Mexico. So that's like way down there. So no, I wasn't taking no chance. Don't have nothing against, going down there, going to Mexico. But at the end of the day, when it comes to my safety gonna always come first. And that's just the bottom line. I don't speak any Spanish whatsoever. I haven't got one of those translator devices. I'm working on getting something like that. So if I do travel out of the country, I'll be able to at least have some dialect and speak to people and be able to understand what they're saying. So, I'm working on that stuff. But nah. And then again, based off who Canelo was fighting, this ain't no fight that you're going to go out of your way to be part of, to cover and all that kind of stuff. There's a difference between traveling for fights and going out of your way to cover certain fights versus, I'll watch it and cover it from home. And this is just a fight I'm going to watch from home because at the end of the day, this wasn't, I'm just keeping it 100. This fight didn't tickle my fancy, as they used to say. So, at the end of the day, most of us expect Canelo to win this fight via probably decision or late stoppage because they want to get Canelo back in the grand scheme of things. They want him to have what you would call a impressive victory, but then you looking at who the opponent is, it's all about the image and it's all about selling. And they want to sell this as as Canelo was bouncing back, coming from two, lackluster performances from losing to Bibble and then basically having a lackluster performance versus Triple G. So they put this guy in the ring with Canelo in hopes that he can stop the dude and look good and have his name ringing in the boxing streets once again. So that's basically what's going on. But like I said before, I'm not really that thrilled about this fight, and I'm just keeping it a buck. I expect Canelo to win this fight. But like I said before, afterwards, what is this going to prove? Because Canelo seems to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. What direction should he go? Should he go David Benavidez for undisputed? Or should he go fight Bibble at 168 for undisputed? And Bibble said, hey, since you making all these excuses, all right, I'll go back down to 168 and I'll fight you for undisputed. And they seem to be some reluctance in Canelo to basically respond to this, so we'll see what happens. But all right, so Eddie Reynoso supposedly made some comments some more disparaging and unfactual comments about black fighters. To me, it just appears that Eddie Reynoso just have a phobia and a fear of fighting certain black fighters, or should I say, elite black fighters. He already gives a built-in excuse. Oh, all they do is run and jab. Eddie Reynoso just coming across as just not being a good trainer. He doesn't have a high boxing IQ. And basically, he makes Canelo look good by basically training Canelo to fight against certain styles. And it's no coincidence that Canelo picked somebody like John Ryder to fight, versus fighting somebody like Demetrius Andrade and Charlo. There's always been reluctance from Canelo to get in the ring with those type of dudes. And that's just factual. Now, first of all, it's not true whatsoever. If you look at Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson outlanded Oscar Valdez pretty much in every statistical category, from jabs to power punches to body shots, pretty much. So if all he threw was a jab, then why all of a sudden, when you look at the punch stats, well, Shakur outdid Valdez by wide margin pretty much in every statistical category. And like I said before, that's just a myth and a stigma that they label black fighters and attach to black fighters when they're basically too good. I'm just keeping it a buck. At the end of the day, a lot of times if you look at history, quote unquote Mexican style don't always result in a W for Mexican fighters. A lot of times with Hispanic fighters, since they like to stereotype black fighters, they just like a dude that just stand in front of them and just trade with them until somebody falls to the canvas or the referee calls a halt to the fight, which to me that shows no real skills, because to me that's basically street fighting. It's called boxing. Okay, it's called boxing. Okay, you fighting in a squared circle. They don't like to display a high boxing IQ. But you've always heard this excuse, especially when it comes to fighting a elite black fighter. You've seen this with Teofimo, because Teofimo has had a chance to fight. To fight Regis Prograis. He's had a chance to fight Devin Haney. He's talking about he may go fight Tank, and the only reason he'll go fight Tank is because Tank will probably resonate to a big payday for Teofimo. But in all likelihood, we know that Tank is going to stretch Teofimo Lopez. Tank would be a heavy favorite in that fight, but you've always heard that. That's a stigma I've seen and heard ever since I've been doing YouTube about, all black fighters do is run. And it's funny, people want to put certain labels on black fighters. But then these are the same people that will tell you, don't make this about race. And that's why I'll be checking these clowns. I get it. Don't make it about race as long as I'm not critiquing some fighter from your community. Okay, so that's how it works. And that's why I don't pay attention. All that stuff about running is complete cap. You name one fight where Andre Ward ran in. Andre Ward was a great body puncher. Well, to be able to punch to the body, you have to be at close quarters to punch to the body. So how is it that he's a runner? No, it's just that people want to dismiss the skill set, and that's all it come down to. And that's why I don't pay these dudes no mind when they tell me, hey, let's not make this about race. I just block them or cuss them out or pay them no mind, because they full of it. They only want to not make it about race when you critiquing a fighter of a different ethnicity. But when it comes to our fighters, they want to be able to say whatever the hell they want to say, which they have a right to say that, but I have a right to dispute it. And I have a right to critique your fighters as well as you like to critique the fighters from my community. But yeah, Eddie Reynoso, he been saying that, taking shots at black fighters. He just showing me that he has a lack of confidence and he isn't as good as some people have made him out to be, which means he isn't a thinker and he doesn't have a high boxing IQ. Well, you seen what he did with Canelo when he was fighting Bibble. He said in Spanish, just keep throwing punches. You'll eventually figure it out. He wasn't telling Canelo how to make no adjustments. Say it. Same thing with Valdez. Wasn't really giving him no real instructions. He told Canelo to figure it out. That was his advice. And I've seen the difference with other people where they say, okay, this is what you need to do. I've seen Jose Benavidez tell David how to make adjustment. Okay, well, just walk him down, cut him off, move to the left, start, using the jab to break him down. Eddie Reynoso's like, throw punches, you'll figure it out. Or you'll catch him later. That's pretty much all he says. This is why probably Ryan Garcia shook the spot. This is why Andy Ruiz shook the spot. This is why Frank Sanchez shook the spot. Because Eddie Reynoso isn't that good of a trainer. And you starting to see it. So that's pretty much what's going on. He has a phobia and a fear of elite black fighters. That's it, and that's all. Yeah, I'm just the guy to say it. Ain't no hesitation and ain't no sugarcoat with me. Like I said before, keep in mind, I'm out there. I'm out there covering these fights. I got to go cover a fight next week. At the end of the day, a lot of people know who I am. Some people like the questions I ask. Some people don't. And I'm starting to think Eddie Reynoso has issues with black fighters outside of boxing. And you know where I'm going with this. But, this wouldn't be out of the ordinary. So, Eddie Reynoso is full of it. And that's just real talk. He's full of it. So he don't know what to do with Canelo because, like I said before, at one time he was saying he thought Canelo could go up to 175 and beat Arthur Beterbiev. Like I said, Canelo, if he step in the ring with Arthur Beterbiev, that will be his last fight. Canelo leaving on a stretcher. He's leaving on a stretcher. And that's just real talk. Canelo getting in the ring with Arthur Beterbiev, he leaving in a stretcher. He gonna get hurt. He gonna get put to sleep, and he gonna get retired. Okay, and that's just real talk. But then Canelo walked it back and was like, "Well, I don't know about that." Smart Canelo, because Eddie was setting you up to get hurt, and hurt really bad. So I don't blame Canelo. I can't knock him for that. All right. So let me move on. So, all right. So we are 2 weeks out from the highly anticipated showdown between Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko. All right. So Devin Haney has called Lomachenko out for not doing his part in promoting this fight, which Devin Haney has every right to call Lomachenko out, because Lomachenko does need to do his part. Now, Lomachenko put out some quick video message talking about the fight, but Lomachenko hasn't done his share. And, the excuse to go be, well, Lomachenko's English isn't that good and all that kind of stuff. Well, at the end of the day, he signed the contract. Triple G didn't talk the best English, but Triple G still knew how to sell a fight whenever he was on pay-per-view. Talked about big drama show and all that kind of stuff. And, I wasn't the biggest Triple G fan because I thought Triple G was a complete complete fraud, and he proved me right that he was a complete fraud. And like I said, he got all this praise for fighting truck driver after truck driver, fighting the cashier at the Dollar Tree, and for real, and fighting people that work, at Facebook. But he got all the praise for fighting those tomato cans. I mean, for real. You would think, based off the amount of tomato cans that, Triple G fought, that he had an executive job at Heinz. That's just real talk. So there you have it. But Lomachenko do need to do his part. The fight is 2 weeks out. They got one episode of Blood, Sweat, and Tears coming out. And it just shows you that, to a certain degree, ESPN don't know how to sell pay-per-views. And that's the problem. That's where the PBC have them beat in Showtime, because they do know how to put together specials, all access. And to be honest with you, it's not even really an excuse why, I just got to keep it a buck. It's no excuse why they can't be spending money and having a bigger budget to promote these fights, because the parent company of ESPN is ABC. They could put a whole special on ABC, a 30-minute special on ABC, and run it in between, Saturday shows and stuff before they go to the Saturday night program, and they could even run it in the afternoon, And then, based off the fact that there is a writer's strike, this is when you strike when the iron is hot. This is when you start, you know what I'm saying? When the iron is just, all the steam coming out, and it's just super hot. So to me, it's no excuse why ABC / ESPN Disney haven't did a better job of trying to sell this fight as a pay-per-view. You just got to keep it a buck. You know the saying, you got to spend money to make money. So they didn't put a good marketing machine behind this fight. Now you seeing stuff on social media. That's cool. Top Rank is trying to do their fair share and trying to do their part to promote the fight. But this fight is coming on ESPN pay-per-view. So ESPN need to be putting together more money to try to sell this fight. Like I said, it's just no excuses. And I'm not trying to hear it. You gotta keep it a buck. ESPN has not done a good job of promoting this fight, as well as Lomachenko. Devin Haney is doing all the heavy lifting, and we're 2 weeks out. I don't know how many tickets they've sold. And once again, if the tickets are very reasonable and affordable, I mean, you got the tickets starting at $64. I mean, come on, man. Very reasonable, very affordable. So, yeah, I do have an issue with Lomachenko, but basically, truth of the matter is, Lomachenko really don't have no fan base. That's another problem. They have tried their hardest to try to promote this dude and say he's the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet, which he never was. And that still didn't result in him selling tickets. Lomachenko fight at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. He don't fight at the actual Madison Square Garden. He fights in the Hulu Theater. He last fought in the Hulu Theater. Now, in case you don't know where the Hulu Theater is, it's in the back of Madison Square Garden. It's in the back of Madison Square Garden. I think it's on 8th Ave. I think it's on 8th Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. I've covered a couple of fights at the Hulu. I think I've covered 3 fights total at Madison Square Garden Hulu. Maybe 4. I think 4. But, yeah, that's because Lomachenko don't have a fan base. When he fought in LA, man, I don't even think he sold 6,000 tickets. And he fought at the Staples Center. They had that whole top section closed off. I was there. I saw it. You know. And for people that will sit up here trying to argue with people and coming on people's outlets, trying to argue about how good Lomachenko is and how exciting he is. Well, how come he ain't selling no tickets then? How come he don't have no fan base? But he supposed to be so good because people really know. Once again, Lomachenko, his opponent selection has been carefully selected. But we gonna see how good he is in 2 weeks. And you just hearing from Lomachenko that they got all kind of excuses. Devin Haney is too big. And all this stuff. Lomachenko was the one that wanted this fight on pay-per-view. Lomachenko got a lot of his demands met. He wanted this fight to be on pay-per-view, but he ain't helping sell the pay-per-view. And I don't like how Devin Haney getting did. And that's just real talk by Lomachenko. You guys are going to be, in the ring squaring off in 2 weeks. And like I said, you still got 2 weeks to help try to sell this fight. Lomachenko need to be doing more. So with that being said, I'm going to call and try to see can I get an interview with Lomachenko, at least somebody from his team, and ask them why they not really went out of their way to promote this fight. You have to ask those kind of questions. That's just real talk. You have to. Well, like I said, first of all, Bob Arum was capping when he said Lomachenko was better than Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather, and he would have beat Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather would have annihilated Vasyl Lomachenko. Floyd Mayweather at 130, 135, he would have knocked Lomachenko out within 6 rounds. Book it. Floyd would have knocked Lomachenko out within 6 rounds. Pretty boy Floyd would have destroyed Lomachenko. So I understand why Bob said it, because they was trying to make him a cash cow. But the problem was they was getting EBT with Lomachenko. And that was the problem. So I just thought that was laughable when I heard Bob Arum saying that. I just thought it was laughable. And I don't even think Bob Arum believed that. So, he had to do what he had to do because they was trying to promote this dude and it just didn't work. Didn't result into Lomachenko selling out arenas and all that kind of stuff. People don't care about him. And that's just the way it is. Myself, I think how they tried to promote Lomachenko was how they should have tried to promote Arthur Beterbiev. So, it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to keep it a buck, and I'm going to end the video with this. Please do not get caught up with some of these agenda pushing, sack hugging, fanboy stuff with this Spence and Crawford stuff about you heard that Terrence Crawford was offered $10 million and he turned it down. From who? Please do not listen to people that don't cover fights, that don't do interviews. That's never there. I can assure you that these dudes be lying. Have they been talks? Well, they've always been talks. Have anything pushed forward? No. What it come down to, you have a lot of people that don't like Terrence Crawford and they're going to try to run the man's name through the mud at all costs. They want to try to make Errol Spence to be this upstanding hero, and that's just not the case. Errol Spence, I'm not going to talk about it. He got a lot of alleged issues outside of boxing. And the thing is that tripped me out with the PBC, they, people, a lot of these content creators try to sell the PBC as this super power to the people, pro-black movement, and that's not even the case. Because if they were so pro-black, how come they always dogging out black media? Like I said, I can't get into no PBC fights. They will not credential me. They will not let me into no PBC events. But the so-called top rank that supposed to be against black people, and they always give me access. I don't have no problem getting into top rank events. None whatsoever. But the so-called company, the so-called promotional company, TV program that's ran by black people, founded by black people, dog black media out. And a lot of those black fighters that fight with the PBC act like a bunch of chicks. If you critique them, and it may not even be nothing bad, just say, hey, you know, I thought he didn't fight well, or maybe he should have threw the jab more and made it an easier fight. Oh, man, I don't want him coming to my fights. That's what they do. That's what they do. So, yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going at the PBC and they little cronies and they little fanboys. But they supposed to be so pro-black, but then all they fighters always sucking up to Canelo, a Mexican. But then they always tearing down black fighters that's not with them, or threatening black fighters that may be with them, you know. Now, I want to see if anybody going to respond to what Eddie Reynoso had to say about black fighters. I noticed they don't respond, but at least Crawford has responded to stuff like that. But then they want to play these games. So, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, the PBC, they want Terrence Crawford to take some fake lowball nigga offer. And then what they do is, if Terrence Crawford don't comply and bend to their will, then they leak information. It's Terrence Crawford. He's being greedy and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, man, Terrence Crawford, he know his worth. Yeah, and he shouldn't take no $2 million. He shouldn't take no $2 million. Terrence Crawford should be guaranteed, at least at the minimum, to fight Errol Spence. He should be guaranteed at least $7 to $8 million up front, and then the pay-per-views. But then they saying that the fight ain't gonna sell on pay-per-view. But then they just had a fight that did $1.2 million. So it's either or. So there you have it. And like I said, just be aware of these agenda pushing nut huggers, stands, fanboys, you know, Beavis and Butthead media content creators. Just watch out for that. So that's all I'm saying. But anyway, appreciate y'all tapping in. It's your boy Town. I'm out.